Hello, everybody. Welcome to Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am Jade, one of your players, or Megamagma on online handles. And with me today, I have the wonderful, the lovely, the amazing, the beautiful, the absolutely radiant um, person whom is beloved. Um, please introduce yourself.
God damn it. Alright. Hi,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm Author. I will be playing the chicken.
Hmm.
Every fucking time you get me with that, I will one day build up a tolerance.
Uh huh. Yeah, sure. Anyways,
God
and
damn it.
I will be playing Triny Ton, who is not doing very okay right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this FPS is called "Wasting Time We Don't Have," which is very apt for what's going to be happening. So, for listeners of uh, games and Shiny, like the Ton family games overall, it has been probably like the last FPS we had was what was the title again? Time to
Right,
Kill.
well, the one that we did last week was called Spending Time.
Spending Time. Good. That's the one I was looking for. Yeah. The last FPS we had was Spending Time. And this was around the beginning of summer for Triny and TOC.
Mm.
Ever since that FPS, TOC, Triny has not dropped off the face of the earth. It's been very sporadic when you have been able to see him. You'll find that you'll go to his house and like his mail has been piled up for like a couple of days. Like you'll go, leave, come back, and then there'll be more mail there, to the point where he's spending a lot of time outside of the house. Um, it's most of the summer like this. The few times you've been able to catch him, he's either coming back in and looks so exhausted, or he's just about to head out again, and didn't brush you off as much as just like it's really busy and it's really important.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
this time you're coming in. How does TLC been feeling about this?
Well, they've made their feelings known.
Uh huh.
Uh, and they're not called the ticked off chicken for nothing.
Uh huh.
Like, they 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 aren't going to go into the goddamn lecture every freaking time because after a while you're just like, well, I might as well save the energy.
Yeah.
But the longer this goes on, the more like disappointed they get. Like they've talked to him about this, and if there's a very hard lesson they've learned, it's that to a certain extent you can't fix someone else's problems for them. They have to fix them themselves. And Trinity isn't fucking doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at their wits end. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So this FPS starts with, I'm guessing, TOC finally coming in to the Triny Ton to the Ton family apartment, and for
Mm.
the first time in a while, Tiny's mail isn't piled up. It doesn't look like you're catching him on the way out and the way in. It seems like he's just here. There's nothing wrong with the door or anything.
Mm. There is one last detail because almost every time they've stepped into this apartment over the last few weeks, they've had this sense of foreboding. And like it latches on to, little inane things like, you know, Chinese grandpa or, what if someone's watching through the window? Just little pits of not paranoia, but like sort of in the very remnants of that like chicken like danger sense. They
Don't see
know
why you would
something's
ever
going to
think
happen.
that, author.
Mm, You can't see, but I'm squinting at the computer.
Genuinely,
Anyways,
I do want to let you know that they like well TLC is perfectly valid in feeling these things. There is nothing that apart from Chinese behavior, there is nothing that would that would generally give you this feeling in a sense.
mm, no, this like to be fair, this is not rational. This is like their mental health stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like that sort of weird irrational waiting for the other shoe to drop, that's going on. Um and I think that they like have to tamp a little bit of that down even as they see, ostensibly signs of improvement, and they will go up and knock on the door.
Um, you knock on the door, and it just opens slightly. It wasn't even locked.
Fuck's sake.
Are you stepping inside?
They take a look at this classic horror trope, and then yes.
You step inside, and what you find is almost every single like wall in this house is just covered in papers and strings and push pins and the like. Most of it just innate nonsense that you couldn't try to understand. Like you could try, definitely could try. Gonna have you rolling a lot of Arcana checks though.
Oh boy.
Um,
Their strong suit.
yeah. Uh, and you do see Triny. He does pop in, and he's almost like he's not tangled in the web as much as he's just maneuvering through it, putting new push pins everywhere. It's just whatever he is working on might be the biggest thing he's ever worked on, and he looks fucking exhausted. Usually, whenever you see him trying to fall asleep, his features on his TV screen like literally turn off for the night. Um, it looks like they're flickering.
Jesus. Oh boy.
Gotta put this here then. How does the how does the, how does the washing machine fit into this? It's, it's don't get it. What is and then he's just walking back and forth, has not even noticed that you're here.
Mm. I think that they're going to sort of like Mission Impossible through the lasers like maneuver through part of the mess.
Roll 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 acrobatics.
Acrobatics. What's your acrobatics there, buddy? Okay. 17.
17. You managed to expertly maneuver through to the sets of strings without you know tearing anything down,
Mm.
which is good because Trini would have probably noticed that. Where do you head? Trini's currently going like around his kitchen table, basically like back and forth, weaving and weaving through the strings.
Mm. There's no sign of Victrola yet, right?
Nope. This is you know for a fact that this is probably around late end of the summer, but the summer hasn't ended yet.
Mm.
So no, the final day hasn't happened. Tiny isn't meant to pick up Victrola for another couple of weeks. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's for them. It's great for the purposes of not having a shouting match. It's bad because they maybe would have reined themselves in a little bit more if Victrola was within earshot. But
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
whew, yeah, they're just like they are struggling to keep their composure because they've talked to him about this so many times. And they can see self-destruction when it happens. I think that they get you know a goodly distance, like they maybe find an unpapered portion of the couch
The table.
and just sort of sit there.
If like, because the entire apartment is covered wall to wall, except for the table where a lot of these papers are sitting, and like more string is sitting there. Like the materials gotta come from somewhere,
Okay, so literally this is the only usable thing in the apartment.
basically.
Cool. Um, I think that they'll go over and try to put the vegetables that they brought with them in the fridge, but no, they'd have to rip a bunch of things to do that, which is really tempting, but they're not quite there yet. So they just sort of put it down in front of them and wait to be noticed.
Give me a hot moment. Triny's perception does have proficiency in perception, but sadly, this is he has about a level of exhaustion right now, so I'm gonna give him disadvantage. Um,
God, I'm
the good thing I did, because one of those rolls was a nat 20. He rolled an
oh
11 though.
Jesus.
Um, Here, one second. What's it? Um, there you go. Yeah. So it takes him a bit. It takes him like
Mm,
20 minutes of walking back and forth, putting down papers, and as you're listening in, it seems like he's just talking like about magical formulas and like for whatever reason his coffee machine
can they see the coffee machine?
it's not there. It's not on the
Hmm.
kitchen counter.
Well, again, they may have broken it. So, that's perhaps for the best.
Yeah. Um. Eventually, the way that he notices here is that on the table there is another cup of coffee, like just a cup of coffee, and he reaches for it, and then as he reaches to look down, he just sees you.
Mm.
I forgot to lock the door, didn't I?
It creaked ominously like some sort of horrible abandoned mansion.
Honestly,
Triny?
I was about to say that I can explain, but and he takes a sip of his coffee. I can't. Not because I don't want to, but because I literally can't. Um, Thank you for coming in, TLC. But I really, really, really need to finish this.
What? No, what you need is to sleep. You look like you're about to collapse.
I'm,
I would rather not take Victrola up for you because you're in the hospital, Triny.
I still have a couple of weeks. I'm fine.
Are you?
Yes.
It,
Takes another sip of his coffee.
stop that. Triny, if you walked into Juniper's apartment and you saw this, you would be appalled. You'd drag me out by my ear and you'd be right to.
This, this is different. Okay. I,
How?
I, I, and like Chinese, like usually when he's having like a lot of emotion or memories, he you can see that his shows on his screen. He's actively trying to block that. He does not want you to see what he's thinking.
Hmm.
Um, and so when you ask how, I I can't answer that. Okay, it's important. It's really important, but I I have to do this.
I can tell it's important. You wouldn't do this to yourself if it wasn't.
Good,
This
so we're
is.
at a good understanding then. Thank you for
No,
checking
we
in.
aren't. Triny, I know there's things that one would be perfectly happy to die for. But that doesn't mean I'm perfectly happy to watch you.
Look, I can't stop now. If I stop now, I'll lose a lead. If I stop now, everything I've worked for is gone. It has taken me 4 years to do this, TOC. I am not stopping.
This is about your parents.
You see, the moment you say that, his eyes look down. He, I sound like a broken record, but I can't stop this. Yes. All right.
Then let us help. You have been gathering allies for as long as I've known you. Why are you isolating now?
Uh. Oh man, this is this is a big one because Trini immediately upon you saying that looks scared
Alright.
and
Okay.
immediately says, "As much as I'm sure you would love to help me, you can't. All right? You just can't. No one can. Not with this. Not with this." You see, he's grabbed like he's been taking more sips of his coffee, um, and he just grabs another piece of paper and like begins walking over to somewhere else.
Oh boy. TUC hops off the table and stands in his path and goes, "No, we're not done. You're making yourself vulnerable, and you're going to drag what's left of your family with you. This isn't smart. It's not going to work. Talk to us."
One moment, because I got to think about how to respond to these.
Hmm. I think, like, TUC had this, like, steely, like, almost bravado, but they relent because they don't like being stern with Trini, and they go, "Oh, no, I understand what the troll was talking about. Okay." What?
I'm sorry, that completely distracted me from the first thing you said. Um, um, look, you see, I, Tiny is usually never at a loss for words.
Mm,
This, like, you can see his hands are like shaking from just like, obviously the coffee. There's a lot of caffeine running through his system right now.
mm.
Probably from not sleeping for over a day. He does have a level of exhaustion. And honestly, you stand in front of him, he just walks over you. Like,
Mm.
okay, I have time. I don't. I have 2 weeks before Victoria gets back. And once Victoria gets back, I can't keep doing this. excuse me, I'm gonna go finish this. I prefer it if you didn't stay here.
Absolutely not. I'm not leaving.
I don't have time for this, and he's gonna pick you up. Author?
Because they're a barbarian.
Author, I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, I'm going to roll acrobatics to contest being picked up.
Mm-hmm.
With advantage because they're a barbarian.
And I rolled athletics, right?
Yes.
1 second. Uh, author, I swear, I'm not fucking lying to you. Moment.
If it's a nat fucking 20,
It's a nat
holy
fucking
shit.
20.
Dice Parser was like, I'm here for the narrative.
Good.
Mm.
Triny just grabs you and holds you with the strength that you probably haven't seen from him since the time you fought on top of him. Even in his sleep deprived. Oh no, wait, he has this advantage. He's sleep deprived. 1 moment. Fucking god damn it. Alright, well, you see, he did have the strength. You definitely know that Triny has the strength to contest you. But it's just barely enough. Not enough.
Mm.
As his tired muscles just give out.
Yeah, they land back on the ground and they look scared.
You see, I can't keep working with you here. Like,
well, that Trini, you can't even pick me up.
that's beside the point. You're pretty strong.
Trini, you're vulnerable like this. You're in danger like this. Don't ask me to leave. Don't ask me to pretend that this isn't you in danger.
The only enemies I have are literally the one anime antagonist that tries to antagonize me like once a week. And at best, the worst thing he does is destroy a coffee shop, which is fine. It gets rebuilt the next day. I'm fine. I don't really have any enemies. I'm like, even if I was weak, I, TOC, if you care about me and everything I stand for and everything we've known each other for, then you'll leave me alone for the last bit. I'm so close.
How dare you? This. How dare you ask me to watch you destroy yourself? How dare you ask me to pretend this is okay? How dare. This is why Victrola couldn't trust you. This is why things have gotten this bad because you do this. And you have done it the entire time I have known you.
I've been taking care of my sister for the past 4 years. I know what I can do, TOC. I've been doing nothing but work in everything. I've been taking care of everything for the past 4 years by myself. I think I can handle this. I'm fine.
And I have made you a promise that you will never be alone again. Are you. Look me in the eyes, Trini, and tell me you're asking me to go back on that.
You should leave. And Tiny turns around and goes back to putting pushpins in the wall.
You hmm. Well, you hear a noise behind you like the worst, most like a chain smoker trying to on their deathbed trying to rasp your name.
Oh. Oh. Triny turns around.
It's just TOC looking a little bit more haggard, like trying very hard not to cough into their wing, and they look desperate.
Triny cannot give up on this. And as much as he does care about TOC,
Mm.
he's going to turn around and say, TOC, you are currently trespassing on private property. Don't leave. I am willing to call whoever I need. Sorry.
They sign. You've got 24 hours to get your act back together. If not, I will call the authorities. And disappointing Juniper is much harder than it disappointing me, I can assure you. 24 hours. Get it together. And they storm out.
Oh man. Okay. Uh, allow me to weave a couple of words then.
Mm.
Um, by the next 24 hours, when TSC comes back around, uh, they come to a silent apartment. There, there's a small note left at the front of the door, um, telling you that there's a small key underneath the mat in front of the door that you can use to open it if you wish. And
Mm.
he just says the words, I can't stop this now. I'm sorry. If I have to move away from this somewhere else, then I will. And it just says TT. And when you enter the apartment, it is empty. Like, it's been cleaned up as best as possible after the, you know, parade of papers that happened here, but it is, there's nothing here.
They they just scream. Like just this long, horrible sound of frustration and fear. So many people that they love are in danger. Seeker, Marigold, Triny. But this is the first time they've had someone do this.
You're not gonna make me regret doing what I'm about to do. No, you're not.
Mm. And I think that they just sit in the cold, silent apartment for a long while. They just sit and wait like they have so many years. And then they pick themselves up because waiting in the quiet is not a luxury they have. And they go and they check Triny's room. And they go and check Victrola's room for her things.
All of those things
And
are still
they
there. There's one thing. There's a couple of things that are missing from Chinese room, I will say. Um, Specifically, his VHS machine, the one that he uses to make VHS, has been taken out.
Okay.
He kind of needs that to function on a daily basis, so that makes a lot of sense, especially if he's moved somewhere else for the time being. Victrola's
Yeah.
room has nothing missing apart from a couple of like her school backpack, which she took with her to camping, and a couple of her things. And the thing that is the most jarring is that the coffee machine is not back.
Mm. You said that the coffee machine is gone or it's back?
It's not back. It's still gone. So
Okay.
either Triny took it with him. That's it makes some good fucking coffee. Um,
Hmm. And I think they go home to Juniper and they start making arrangements for Victrola to stay with them for as long as she needs to.
uh,
If they need to be the one to pick her up from camp, then they will be. If they need to eke out another spot in poor Juniper's apartment for a child on top of Marigold and Arya, who they still haven't met, um then
I will
they will make
say,
her a good spot.
I will say this: Victrola does get brought home by someone. It is not Triny. It is actually Uncle John. Um,
Mm.
during the events of the final day. But before this, before the events of the final day, and after the events of what transpired in Triny's apartment with TFC, um, we see Triny's apartment empty for a couple of days. A layer of dust has started to build up, and it is at that moment that we see the door burst open as a tired, ragged, wet Triny, with a crack along his screen, limps into the apartment building.
Jesus.
Get things ready, and you see Triny just holding his VHS making like device that he connects usually to himself, and goes over to the bathroom and sets up shop there. He grabs a couple of VHS like blank VHSs from his room, and a couple of older VHSs with some labels on them, um, and begins to get to work. And the last scene we see of um of of Trini is him staring at his bathroom mirror, sitting at a chair, and just saying, "Please don't come look for me." And it cuts to black with the sound of a shattering window.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Listen in for Keys of the Missing Television this Sunday, I guess, or I guess it'll be the game after canonically the memory tapes. So have fun listening to memory tapes.